Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, newly established channel. I wanted to make a video about something that it has been on my mind for a little while now, and I could be the only one, or more people might have noticed. But even with the recent conventions and events, I feel like our game trailers, and their cinematics are just falling flat. They are either just not there, they are boring, sad to say, or the goal is just invisible. Now I might be the only one, and this might just be me coping, but I have grown up with games majority of my life, and I absolutely love games. I love spending time in games. It's my to go to. It's whether I'm sad, happy, I feel the best when I'm playing video games. And I've had for most of my life, I've grown up with video games, and every time there was a new trailer to come out for the game that I was playing, I would be over the moon. I'd be so excited, and I would be setting myself reminders and just getting so hyped up about the fact that there is going to be this glimpse, a little glimpse into the game that I will most likely play, especially if it was a game that I was already invested in. For a lot of the new games, it was a big toss up because the trailers either hit home or they didn't. And back in the day, I feel like trailers had more of an impact. And that's why I wanted to talk about it a little bit, because I could just be coping. I could just be here delusional in my own little world, but maybe other people have noticed. So that's why I wanted to talk about it. I think since I was very young, I grew up on PS1 games, Sega games, and then I was introduced to the big AAA game, World of Warcraft. And I know everybody's going to be like, "Oh, World of Warcraft, what a terrible game." Look, the state of the game, it is what it is, and I'm not here to talk about the game, but I am here to talk about the trailers of the games and the cinematics. And when I did see the game, my stepdad played it and he introduced me to the game, and I was absolutely hooked. I was so excited for everything about the game. Just hooked me, and I was there. And I remember sitting down. There was going to be a trailer coming out. It was Burning Crusade. I was so excited for the Legion trailer. To be honest with you, I was so excited for all the trailers. I've been so involved with World of Warcraft, and that's primarily what I'm going to talk about today, because that's the best example I can give in regards to my opinion. And so I was just so excited, and I set my reminders. I had my drinks, I had my snacks and everything, and I was watching it like my life depended on it. Like it was just gonna. That's it, and yeah. So the reason why I'm making this is the big question is, are trailers just dying off, or are they just failing? Are we not appreciating the trailers as much as we used to, or are we not being giving what we want, basically? So yeah, so I'm gonna talk about the World of Warcraft cinematics, as I said, because that's my to go to, and that's something that I can digest. I can break it down, and I can explain it so well because I have played the games. But I also want to make it very clear that I'm not a hardcore player. I'm a very casual World of Warcraft player, so I can't really comment to the top tier mythic rating and like, are there any Easter eggs and such a thing. But I can talk about as a returning player, as a new player to certain expansions, or does this trailer even entice me to want to play this game? And because I'm a casual player, I feel like I can give you an opinion about what does this look like, what am I watching, is this worth my time? Am I going to spend money on this game? Am I going to get somebody who might not have ever even played the game is going to watch the trailer and be like, "Oh, that kind of look cool." So I have some opinions about different trailers, about different games that I haven't played. But for specifically this one to explain, I'm going to use World of Warcraft. Okay, and I will play the first cinematic, which is the one that I feel like has delivered on numerous accounts, especially for when it came out, for the dates. For its own time, it was just revolutionary, in my opinion. And everybody can have a different hot take on it, but I think it was one of the best cinematics or trailers that we received in this genre. Okay, so I will play it now for you. I'm going to mute my mic. Sorry, I'm not great at editing videos and stuff, so this is my first video, but we're doing it, okay? So this here is World of Warcraft cinematic trailer for the first World of Warcraft expansion.
"4 years have passed since the mortal races banded together and stood united against the might of the Burning Legion. Though Azeroth was saved, the tenuous pact between the Horde and the Alliance has all but evaporated. The drums of war thunder once again.
I have chills. I have chills every time I watch that cinematic. I have chills. And I get emotional. But sorry, excuse me. The biggest part of this cinematic, and yes, this came out years and years ago, but you can see the goal of the game makers and the producers and the storytellers. They showed us exactly what they wanted us to see. They showed us the first part, which is a huge aspect, is adventure, is the open world, the different races, the different kind of just different aspects to the game in regards to adventure and character building and all this kind of things. And then the second part of Warcraft is war, and we get a beautiful glimpse of that. We get the races fighting against each other, and the skills and the just everything in it just feels very cohesive, you know. And it's so clear that what did they want to show us? They wanted to show us the world, and they wanted to show us the Warcraft, the war within the world. And that's why I think this is one of the best cinematics that's delivered. And if I could rate the cinematic, especially from before, I always say I'd give it 3 days off. I'm taking 3 days off holidays. I'm playing this game non-stop 24/7. That's why I think this is one of the easiest way to kind of describe the pinpoints. Is like, is it a cinematic masterpiece for its time? Yes. Okay, we get the beautiful detail, we get the sound effects, the soundtrack too is incredible, and I'm a sucker for good soundtrack when it comes to cinematic trailers, movies, even just cutscenes in the games. And I could tear up and I could cry so easily, depending. But the soundtracks just make it so much better. And that's why I think this has everything. The goal is very clear. The cinematic's beautiful. The soundtrack's great. And it just gives you a sneak peek into the world of Warcraft and what you're going to get. You're going to get adventure and you're going to get Warcraft. And that's why I think the cinematic is baseline for what I think is a top tier cinematic. Now, contrast to that, sticking with World of Warcraft, because as I said, that's something I can talk about. And I will also add that after playing World of Warcraft Classic as well, they delivered. What you saw in the cinematic is what you saw in the game, and it was just basically 1-to-1, and it was brilliant. It really was. So now moving on to the second cinematic, which came out more recently. Okay, and I'm not going to comment on the direction of the game itself. Okay, because in a general opinion, everybody has their own opinion, whether they like it or not. I think the general census for the opinion is that the expansion War Within was not the greatest they've ever had. But I want to primarily look at the cinematic. And I will say, I did sort of, when I seen it first at the convention, I was overwhelmed. I did have even tears in my eyes at some point, because I was like, this is, we'll watch it first and we'll talk about it after, okay?
You're here to tell me we don't get to hide. Is that it?
You needed time. We stayed away. But time by itself heals nothing.
You didn't just come here for me. It's the visions. You've seen them.
I suspect many have lately. Something, someone, is calling out from the heart of the world. Like a voice from a dream. Something dark is coming, Anduin. The world needs your light again. My son.
I am not that person anymore. I have no light. Not after what I've seen. Not after what I've done.
You are not your past, Anduin. I trust you.
Hear me.
They're getting worse. Look, whatever's coming, I'll stand with you. Of course I will. But we were drawn here by the voice. Who is it, Thrall? Who's calling out to us?
I'm not sure yet. But that sword was aimed at someone.
And there you have it. So, The War Within was a follow-up to Shadowlands, and what you see in the glimpse of the previous game is that Anduin unfortunately went through a series of dramatic and traumatizing events, and he's lost his form of light and such. So a little bit of spoilers there, but I think the difference between the two, right? Okay, let's talk about this one specifically first. Was I emotional? Absolutely. The animation, everything about this cinematic is absolutely beautiful. You can't take that away. The animation, the quality, everything, just the detail, like even just gentle detail about the sand here and how he rotates it, and every single particle of the sand is falling within, like, the detail in this cinematic is breathtaking, absolutely breathtaking. And that's that's incredible to be able to do that. It's beautiful, but when you look at the cinematic as a whole, what is the goal? What are you trying to tell us? And I always say that trailers and cinematics are just the first point of view of the game makers showing us what they want us to see. This is the aspect we're showing you. This is what we are focusing on. This is the biggest goal of the game. And in this trailer, in this cinematic, I could not but think to myself, where are we going with this? Why are we talking about this? What is the goal of Warcraft? Okay, from what I could gather, in my opinion, it's just about hardships and feelings and overcoming. And a side note is, let's help Azeroth heal because something is about to attack us. So is the primary goal uniting together to help Azeroth? I don't think so. The primary goal of this cinematic was the things that Anduin went through and trying to help him, and how do we feel about what he's going through. So does that match the game that we have played for the last few years and we are going to play? No, it does not. And as I said before, I'm not talking about the gameplay itself or anything like that, because yes, gameplay is very important to see how the game is. You're going to purchase this game, you're going to pay your hard-earned money for this game, so you need to see what it plays like. But watching a cinematic and having that tiny little glimpse into the mind of the game makers is just, it's incredible. But with this cinematic, for example, as I said, it's such a beautiful cinematic, but it does not give us any information. It doesn't give us anything. What would I rate it? Probably watch somebody else play it, honestly. Have I played it? I have, because I am a fan of World of Warcraft, and I'm willing to give Warcraft the benefit of the doubt in every single situation, because I would rather play the game and see for myself than to listen to opinions of other streamers and stuff. Not that they're wrong or anything, but I would always like to test out things for myself. But when I watched this cinematic, I did tear up, because I do remember Anduin going through so much hardship. But at the end of the day, was I convinced that this next expansion is going to be the expansion? No, I was not. I wasn't super excited about it. I wasn't, at the edge of my seat watching it or anything. I wasn't like, not just nostalgia in general. And nostalgia is a big aspect to watching World of Warcraft Classic cinematic, or the original cinematic, is the fact that I remember it with such a positive and warm feeling in my heart. As to where I watched this, it's more emotional, and do I have bad experience with War Within? No, not necessarily. I played the expansion, I enjoyed it. I did quit kind of halfway through because it got very prolonged. What we weren't told is that the kind of build up to it leads to 3 different expansions kind of as a whole. So you're kind of working away at it. But for this cinematic especially, I don't think we had any direct goal to where we're going, other than let's acknowledge our feelings. And if you put that next to the idea of Warcraft and World of Warcraft and Warcraft 1, 2, and 3, it's Warcraft. Where is the war? Where is the conflict? Where is the of the game? And I think that's why it breaks my heart to watch the decline. Now, I will say that the new expansion trailer has come out. I don't have it here because I'm not using it as an example, but due to certain circumstances, we have got a little bit of that back into the cinematics, and I will make a different video about that, on my opinion about that cinematic. And it's the cinematic for Midnight, World of Warcraft Midnight, and it's everything that I think we were missing, but maybe just a hint of, are we there yet? But that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, is the cinematics and how do we feel about them. And am I being delusional? Am I noticing this myself, where maybe people don't care as much about the trailers and the cinematics as they used to? Or have we been lied to? Not necessarily saying that we have, but being shown something that's not really happening. Or I don't know, you tell me, please. Tell me your thoughts and suggestions and just ideas you have about this whole topic in general. And I'm excited to do more videos about cinematics, because it is kind of hurting my soul, I'm not gonna lie. I absolutely adore them, and the soundtracks, and they're mini movies but for games, and it's everything. So yes, let me know down in the comments, and hope you enjoy the video. Sorry about the back and forth. I'm very bad at making videos just yet, but I am learning and I'm very excited. So I'm hoping to do more react videos on the actual cinematics and stuff on my Twitch channel. So if you are interested in more content about that, write it down in the comments. If you have a wish list on a cinematic, write it down in the comments, especially for games that I haven't played yet. I would absolutely love to watch the cinematic and give my thoughts about it as a newcomer to the game, and see, are the goals there, and then try the game for myself even, and see if we have matched, if the cinematic is everything. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thumbs up, baby. See you guys on the next one.